Hi, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. My name is Joachim van der Meulen. I'm the secretary for the DROPS Asia chapter. So warm welcome to this webinar on DROPS training in virtual reality. So we're recording this and presenting this live on LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live. So yeah, I hope it's working for you, and hopefully we'll be able to have a chat later. So I will run through a few slides first before we do a demonstration of the DROPS training in virtual reality. Okay, so DROPS is this global work group with over 200 members. It's focused on preventing dropped objects with an ultimate goal of delivering a second nature dropped object prevention strategy across our industry. So yeah, we're a work group, 200 members, mostly operators, drilling contractors, service companies, industry bodies, all sharing this commitment and enthusiasm for a common goal of dropped object prevention. So I facilitated DROPS Asia chapter, which was first established in 2009. So we're the first chapter that was established after the North Sea. And since between 2009 and 2017, we organized a lot of forums in the region. So some of the pictures you can see here, some invitations. So Brunei, Malaysia, China, Indonesia, Australia, Vietnam. So we went to many different places. But since 2018, we focused on organizing our events online. And currently, in its current form, that's the monthly DROPS Wells Forum, which is usually attended by between 70 and 150 people in the wells, so drilling sector. All right. So if you're watching this on LinkedIn Live or YouTube Live, please use the chat to introduce yourself. Unlike our forums, it's difficult to communicate with you. But the best way to do that is just share your chat. And so another thing which is important for the DROPS Asia chapter is to connect people. So when you chat with others, maybe you build a connection with someone else who is also on the call. Okay. Right, so DROPS have developed a huge amount of resources over the years, and those were originally developed in those face-to-face forums, and you can download them from our website. Let me just share the link. Find that on DROPS Online. Right, I will share the links later in an email, or if you drop me a note as well. Right, going to the next slide. So one of these recommended practices is the DROPS recommended practice, and that's a great place to start if you're new to this topic. And so I'd highly recommend you start your journey there, and from there it also connects to all the other documents which I shared in the previous slide. Well, when we look at page 21, it looks at training, and DROPS recommends obviously delivering training to your crew to raise awareness and build competencies as such. So we talk about 3 levels: awareness, inspector, and DROPS focal point training. And the way we typically support that is we recommend cascading this information down through your organization. So we have a DROPS Train the Trainer pack, which is usually used by a DROPS focal point, who then develops your internal procedures, your whole program, and then develops its own training program, and then you deliver it to your staff. So that could be using PowerPoint, but you could also use hands-on workshops, maybe e-learning, and of course VR. So there's a lot of different options available, and we've seen some great solutions out there. We have also seen some solutions which are not so great. So And sometimes what we see is that the focal points, they have very limited training. They deliver the same slides and only use PowerPoint. Yeah, and sometimes just haven't developed enough depth to be able to deliver these training courses. Right, and in some cases, this training is delivered through external vendors, maybe through e-learning, without any consideration of your own specific challenges, their own specific role, or yeah, your own program internally, right? So that's where we kind of saw that, maybe the industry is lacking some tools to be able to deliver a good training. Okay, so that's why we started this DROPS virtual reality training program. Just bear with me for a second. I see we have a few comments, which I'll put on the screen for a second, so we know that we have some people on the show. Welcome, welcome everyone. It is great to have you here. Okay. All right, back to the slide. So yeah, this virtual reality concept is quite old, but it's really started gaining ground in 2012, and there's really a whole bunch of technological breakthroughs finally allowed it to happen, and it's slowly evolved from there further. So you see on the left hand, you have a high-end computer setup with very comprehensive hardware, and then on the right hand you see fairly simple hardware, and that kind of concept blended over time until the most recent headsets. So we're currently looking at the Meta Quest 3 or the Meta Quest 3S, right? And then of course Apple has launched some devices as well. We don't support that just yet because it's just very expensive, and it's also difficult to adopt multiple devices. But yeah, it is a good sign that they are investing in this technology, right? So if you want to get started with virtual reality now, you want to try this out, these are some of the hardwares that we recommend. If you don't have anything yet, don't buy old kit, because it just keeps evolving, right? We currently still support the older models that I showed earlier, but not for very long. So if you buy something now, go with one of the options on the screen, and yeah, all are good. I would recommend, though, if you buy a headset, buy some of the premium head straps with it. Personally, I just find that the headsets, the ergonomics isn't great, and with such a head strap that is offered, it is a lot more comfortable. Okay, so if you don't have any VR headset yet, but you want to kind of explore the DROPS Metaverse software, you want to explore the environment, see what is on offer, then you can download the Windows application, and I will share the link. But again, I think I've also already shared that with you in the emails, but there we go. This is the link to the app which you can download. So you'll need to install this on your computer. Now, if you're on a business computer, there's a very good chance that you're not able to install this. Your IT department may not give you permission to do so. This is an obstacle that can be overcome. You need to contact them, and it possibly need to be in touch with us. And then they need to kind of whitelist it, and then it's permitted to install. So after you've installed that, then we go to the next obstacle which we need to overcome, which is the connection. So DROPS Metaverse is a multiplayer environment which is connected to the internet. So you need to have a microphone, you need to have an internet connection, and of course for all that to work, we need to have some sort of login system, right? And so all of this works on gaming technology, and well, rightly so. Most organizations, they don't really like it when people play games in the office. So what they do is they block this kind of connection. So yeah, it's possible that when you try to run this on your in your office, that not all these buttons turn green. So if that happens, again, get in touch with your IT department. They could help you possibly open up the ports to allow this. But a quick way to solve it possibly is try it at home or connect it to your mobile phone. Then there are some countries where they block this kind of technology, and well, I can't say what to do, but I think if you're one of those countries, you probably do know what to do. All right, so we'll probably have an opportunity to discuss this during the Q&A a little bit more. What are kind of the limitations? But I just want to highlight it briefly before we go into the demo. So it's a duration you can spend in VR. It really depends on the person. But if we're doing like a half-day training or we're doing a whole day training, there's no way somebody can spend several hours continuously in VR, especially not if you're doing if this is the first time. I know there's people who love to play games in VR and they can spend hours, days. But for the majority of the people, that is not a comfortable experience. Some get motion sickness that typically sets in after half an hour to an hour. And for some people, that is worse than for others. I can talk an hour about this topic. There's lots of ways that you can do to kind of reduce the chances of that happening, reducing the impact. And if you're introducing a program like this, we would kind of help you with that. So the other limitation is that, well, we don't have all the content yet. I mean, drops is a very big, well, it's a very niche topic, but in the same time, very, very big. So we don't have all the topics covered yet. So some of the topics you may just need to use other sources like just your PowerPoint, for example. Now, then there's the technical complexity. Yeah, it's obvious that it's easier just to run a PowerPoint slide than it is to use these headsets. But there is certainly a benefit to doing so because this immersive experience is really very special. I certainly do not want to advocate that VR is always the best option. No, I agree that hands-on training is fantastic, and in some cases having kind of work groups can be way better. If we're talking about, for example, with tools at height, I think it's much better to just put the tools in people's hands in most cases. So my recommendation is when you build a good training program, use a combination of all these tools, and this could be a very good tool to help you build your training, but not the only one. If that makes sense. All right. So what I will do now is I'll stop sharing this screen, and then I just need to load up the application, and we will resume sharing my screen. Okay. So you see Stanley. Welcome, Stanley. And Mohit, also welcome. I am just loading the application now. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, so this is the screen we talked about, right? So this is the check-in. For me, everything is green, so I can just load it. Right, there we go. So if you're the first time, you'll need to create a login here. So once we're in, bear with me, I have a sorry, 1 second. I got a bit of an error on my computer, so I just start over. I will be back in a second. There we go. That's better. Okay, so here we can create an avatar. Don't have a huge amount of options, but just kind of maybe if you want to have your corporate color, change your skin color, etc. You just do a basic alteration. Okay, so once we enter the metaverse, we actually enter a more kind of an exhibition hall, and our ambition is in the long run we bring back these face-to-face forums to a more virtual format, and it will look something like this. So if some people have already downloaded the app and installed it, they could come in here and meet with me at one of these tables and have a conversation. Right, so that's kind of the collaborative meeting tool. We'll focus this session more on the training aspect, and so we have various scenarios. So we have a cargo inspection, a hazard hunt, a human factors, and then a landric environment. We're currently transitioning the hazard hunt to the landric scenario. So I'll start with the cargo inspection. So when I click on it, it loads the new scene, and that takes a few seconds to start. There we go. So basically what we end up is we end up in this environment, which is, it's a cargo inspection. It can be used in different ways. The way I like to use it is I will tell the students and say, hey, we're just you're just on a container deck. These containers are going to be picked up by a ship. They're going to be lifted, and in half an hour, and it's your role to make sure that they are all fine. They're all ready to be lifted, right? To do a quick inspection and can you sign them all off, right? So that's already, of course, such an instruction is a recipe for disaster. But okay, so what the students then do is they'll look around and they might look at the various aspects. So, for example, you may see here there's a spanner hanging there, all right? So that's quite common, actually, that people accidentally kind of leave something behind, and then along the way during the transportations may come off and then cause a dropped object. For demonstration purposes, what I will do is I will show the I will show you what kind of views we have. So we can see here, right? A container which is not properly closed. We can see a two-part shackle. And one of my favorites is the wait 1 second. It's a forklift pocket. And the reason for that is because when people wear a VR headset, the only way they can actually see this is to go on their hands and knees and bend down to be able to inspect that forklift pocket. And that is similar to reality. is, yeah, I mean, you could use something like a camera or that, and yeah, I'd love to see some solutions like that. But in most cases, yeah, it's just the old-fashioned way of just going down on your knees, looking in those pockets to see if there's something there, right? So that's it's very nice to see how that looks in VR. So in this scenario, what we can also do is we can bring in a uh, new one second. Right. So I will open up a different scenario. Okay. So we will go to the Landric scenario, which we've recently been developing. Okay, so this Landric is developed in collaboration with a Landric drilling contractor. They also manufacture rigs, so they provided us with the technical drawings, and that allows us to kind of build a very detailed environment. It's still under construction, and we just continue to develop it, but it can already be used for various training scenarios. So you can see the top drive here, and we can slowly go up to different levels. So we're currently in the land rig. So if we want to go all the way up, you can see here we're on the crown, where we have still to install properly the layout of the cables. It's still a little bit confusing, but that's something we're currently working on. So the idea is that in these scenarios, so we'll just go, for example, to the hazard hunt, and we'll go to let's see, pathway. So we're going to a different scenario now, where we can do some inspection of lights and check the primary fixing, secondary retention, safety securing, etc. And then we can use that as a kind of a discussion here. So you can see here, here's a light. We can see the netting in there, and then we can see some bolted connection. Now, it's very difficult to see in the Windows version, but when you're wearing VR, you can basically put your nose right into it and do a very detailed inspection. And then what you will actually see is that, yes, these nettings are installed, which is good. We have got safety securing. However, it was definitely needed because the bolted connections are not good. We'll see some washers missing, and actually, that is something that is very easily missed. So some people might think, oh, great, this they've got their netting installed, so it's all good. But we have to think about, well, first of all, we need to install have the primary method of securing adequately installed, and only then can we consider things like the nettings and stuff. So yeah, so this is kind of the things we have in the scene. Currently, we have about material for half a day training, and yeah, so that would be a combination of VR, but group discussions and such. And the idea is that you use it in your organization. So and to enhance your training. It's not like we deliver the full thing for you. We could do kind of an intro for you, but our intention is really to hand it over to you so you can incorporate it in your or in your training. So yeah, I'd like to take a break and see and answer any questions there may be from the audience. So please use the chat feature and ask questions. Will kind of make it easier for me to answer. Take your time. I will, in the meantime, just take us to a different location as well. Okay, so I've got a question from Brad. I'm assuming that's Brad in Singapore. Welcome, Brad. So what interface options do you have besides VR? So we have this Windows interface, which you're currently looking at, but that is really meant for the instructors. So the training is really designed around VR because that makes the whole thing immersive. To some extent, we could say that actually what we're looking at now on the screen could have been done, probably 20 years ago with the technology available then. Maybe not quite as sharp as it's looking now, but yeah, it is basically gaming technology. But what really makes it unique is this kind of immersive aspect of it. Does that answer your question, Brad? Okay. Okay, it's very tough to implement this one on small mechanical rigs, and any custom is straight to implement. Yes. Well, first of all, I think if you're looking to develop a training which is specific around your rig, it's very costly. So I would say use the content that is available. Yeah, and then other things is delivering the training on location. Yeah, that can in some cases be challenging if that's what you're referring to. There is internet connectivity issues for sure. That you need to have a robust internet connection to make this work. And yeah, you need to kind of have the infrastructure locally in place. This is quite impressive when you see this in VR happening, because if you basically see it coming at you, yeah, it can be quite scary. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Mohit. Brad says, yeah, thanks. And then, okay. So stuff to implement in mechanical. Yeah. So what's the so the training itself? Yeah, again, it's not meant to be fully customized to the rig. It could be done. It's just very expensive. Okay. Let me see. Behind this one, the next one from Oliver. What are the pros and cons of the application? Well, I would say the pros are really a much more engaging experience. It's highly immersive, and it kind of really leaves an impression on the students. And that's often kind of, I would use that as a way to kind of open them up, to the subject, and to kind of think about this topic more thoroughly. If they experience this incident was just shown firsthand, they're kind of shocked and they're like, oh wow. So now they're all prepped to learn, right? And so that's kind of really different from doing PowerPoint. The cons of this technology is, it is not exactly easy to implement. You need to have the hardware, you need to have the training to be able to facilitate this. For sure, it's not going to be as easy as just delivering a PowerPoint presentation, but it's certainly going to be a more memorable experience, and that's what we're trying to do. Okay, so then a question from Darren in Dubai: is the app multi-language capable? Yes. So I mean, it is an instructor-led training. So the way it's led, that can be done in any language. That's up to the instructor to do. The menus and stuff can be converted into different languages if that is necessary. However, we program it in such a way that actually the facilitator has a lot of tools to allow them to manage the experience for the students. So they don't really need to know a lot of English to be able to navigate it, because as an instructor, you just send them to the place you want them to be. Okay, so can you have multiple users seeing the same scenario, all wearing VR headsets? Yes, that's exactly the idea, but everyone is seeing it from their own perspective. So you can see in the application, I have my avatar here. And I don't know if anyone has already managed to set up the application on their computer. They could come to this scene, and we could actually do that live right now, and show you, another player. But you can see my eyes, right? So I can change the perspective as well. But I'm seeing it from here. But if somebody else is standing here, then I'll see it from there, like in real life. So they have to be looking at the right angle to see things. Does that answer your question, Gordon? So there are some tools in the application which allow you to kind of transport a student. So if I have multiple students here, right? So let's say I want to bring students to the stone hazards, I can teleport all of them. Okay. So what other questions do we have? Okay, join. Okay. Harshit, joining from India. Awesome. So some of the questions I often get is does this work offshore or in remote areas? So the key thing here is you need to have a decent internet connection. It doesn't have to be super fast, but it has to be reliable for this to work. Ideally, a low latency. So we saw some of our users have implemented this on remote areas in Australia, and they use Starlink, and actually that works fantastic. Okay, how to get one of the VR gadgets? So I will share the link. So this is the website from Meta. So there you can see the different headsets that they sell. Anything that they currently sell is supported, and you could just go with a basic version. You don't need the high end version. It doesn't really make a difference, because what is key in this headset is the video processor, and they're the same. So the memory doesn't really make a difference. Right. So if you can't find it if you can't buy directly from Meta, try Amazon. So these headsets are a few $100 each. Okay, are there any more questions? Right, so I think in terms of a question which I often get is costing. So this application itself, so the Windows application, the VR application, can be downloaded free of charge. And you can experiment a lot with it. You can do your own workshops with it and stuff. But the moment you start using this as a kind of a commercial thing, or you start rolling out a program in your organization, that's when we do expect kind of a compensation, because obviously it's quite expensive to develop. All right. So question from Goodness, can this be used in other locations than oil rigs? Yes. I mean, actually, one of the scenarios is not even filmed on not even created on a oil rig. It's more on a refinery. We can create the scenarios for all kinds of places, and people always tell me, hey, you need to do this for construction because they have so much issues there. Totally agree, but they also, it's also quite costly. I mean, typically we find that the oil and gas industry is willing to kind of invest in these solutions. So yeah, that's where our current focus is. But if you have a plan and you want to develop this for your areas, we can definitely do it. What is necessary is that we need to have the 3D models. So that's what we see on the land rig. That looks so unique and so good because we actually have access to the manufacturing drawings from one of the contractors. Any other questions? Okay, so I see. I find it honestly a little bit awkward to do it in this way with the chat. Normally, when we have our monthly Drops forums, everyone can just open up their microphone and start talking, and I find it maybe much nicer. And I'll be happy to kind of schedule another session where we can have more free conversation. This LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live is a bit of an experiment to see how it works, but frankly, I feel a little bit strange just getting chat messages in. So maybe we do this different another time. Yeah. So if there's no other questions, I would like to kind of thank you all for your participation, all your questions, and I will. Be in touch if you have any questions. You have my email. Do reach out if you think this might be of interest to your organization, and happy to have a further discussion. So with that, I will close this LinkedIn Live and YouTube Live presentation. And again, thank you all for participating. I'll check on LinkedIn if there's any further comments later, and then I'm happy to respond. Have a good day. Thank you all.